Let's bring in Stephanie Grisham, White House Press Secretary and Communications Director. She knows all about this. So the Department of Homeland Security is saying, look, we don't know where these people are because New York is not vetting them. They wind up with driver's licenses. They shouldn't be able to travel with the global entry thing. But you know that now the state of New York is saying the White House is just doing that because this is all politically motivated. They don't like the sanctuary city stuff or anything else.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Absolutely. I think that it's unfortunate that they're making this about politics. This is about the security of our country and the American people and nothing else. Information sharing is very, very important between states and the federal government, specifically DHS and ICE. It makes it impossible for DHS, ICE, CBP to do their job when they don't have accurate information available to them. Right. The president has talked about this many times. Immigration is something that he ran on, and that has been a sole focus for him throughout his presidency.
So is he going to compromise?
Well, it's hard to compromise, I think, on national security, but I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see what happens. I won't get ahead of that. Okay. We certainly hope for a constructive conversation.
But, Stephanie, is it enough for them just to give people applying for global entry access to their background check? Because you're not giving people access now, and the sanctuary state law, that's what New York decided, and it's a crazy thing to rule personally. But if they say, okay, if they apply for global entry, we'll let you have access to their background, would that be enough?
I don't know. I haven't discussed that with the president yet, so I would never want to get ahead of him there. I know that no matter what happens in this meeting, he'll put the American people's safety first, and we'll just see what happens after that.
All right, Stephanie, let's talk about what happened with Mr. Stone, Roger Stone. The DOJ recommended 9 years in prison. The president didn't like that and said it was a disgrace. So many of the Democrats are now calling for the president to, that Mr. Barr needs to resign, and even Elizabeth Warren is saying that the president needs to be impeached over this. It hasn't even been a week since the last hearings were over with, and now here we go again. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I mean, Elizabeth Warren calling for that, I think that's very ironic, as she is actually trying to run against him for the presidency. We've been knowing, I think I've said it on this show, that, we expected something to come that they would try to, say about the president. And this isn't a surprise to us. But what I will say is the president is absolutely right. The sentence that they wanted to give Roger Stone is it's excessive. I've got a list here of crimes that have been committed that are pretty grisly, that I wouldn't actually want to talk about on a morning show. But a lot of really hard, horrible criminals have gotten absolutely no jail time. This was absolutely excessive. And I think that what the president was saying was right. I'd also like to mention, this is the commander-in-chief. This is the top law enforcement officer. And he's got a right to his opinion, but he has said repeatedly that he didn't get involved. He did not speak to AG Barr. That was something that they knew was excessive and did on their own. And
ultimately, it will be up to a judge to figure out how much time to give Mr. Stone. All right, Stephanie, I know that the president is looking to November. He would like to get reelected. Obviously, you would love that as well. And Gallup has done the poll where they asked the question that Ronald Reagan made famous years ago, and that was, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And right now, according to the Gallup poll people, 61% of Americans say they're better off now than they were 3 years ago. That's got to be very helpful to you. When you look at those numbers, how do you take advantage of those going forward?
Well, I honestly think it's helpful to the American people. I mean, clearly everything is going great in this country for the American people. There have been so many polls showing just that, whether it's their own paychecks, whether it's jobs, whether it's their satisfaction in their own personal life. Poll after poll is showing that the president is doing great things and that people are happier. I think that another point I would mention to show is that Nancy Pelosi has been telling people, whatever you do, don't talk about the economy. So she's seeing these polls too. And I know that, over the next 10 months, the president will continue to work, and I am confident he will be reelected.
So John Kelly had a speech last night at Drew University, at which time he expressed his displeasure with the president's policy on North Korea, illegal immigration, military discipline, and the Ukraine. He was the former chief of staff and Homeland Security secretary. What's your reaction to that?
I was disappointed, obviously, especially I saw some of the comments that he made, and I was in the room with him when he actually backed the president on many of the things that he's now saying, you know, weren't great. Talking about the media especially, I have heard John Kelly say some things about the media, so I thought it was a little disingenuous. It's interesting that he's starting to poke his head out and speak a little bit more, just like John Bolton, as we're getting close to an election, but I'll just end it with I was disappointed.
All right. Stephanie, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.